Well, as much amongst the people, racism is amongst the system.
Yo, what's going on, man? Good morning. We're here 2018 for another episode of RapAboutTV, the group chat. And this morning we have a special guest with us, Nichelle J.
What's up? What up?
Blogger, actress, songwriter. What's going on? How you doing this morning?
I'm totally excited to be here, so thank you for having me.
Long time coming. So, real quick, just for everyone in here, tell them a little bit about your path now as a blogger.
I've done TV One, NBC News. I'm now a freelancer for ABC News.
ABC News. Mm-hmm. So tell them a little bit about the backstory, because I know when we met, man, we was talking and we had that do for self conversation, and you quit your job and got to hit the ground running.
Okay. So a little bit about my background. I'm originally from New Orleans, and I moved to Cleveland, Ohio after Hurricane Katrina. There, working hard, dealing with like a lot of family stuff. And I just had an epiphany one day when I was working for Sallie Mae, of all people, okay? But, so I was sitting there working for Sallie Mae and I had an epiphany. I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like, I want to move to DC. So I called my dad up. He's like, you should definitely do it. So I came to DC, came here, hadn't even graduated high school by the time that I left Ohio, so I moved here. First thing I did was got a GED. And I was just out networking with people, connecting with people, and I'm like, I want to be a journalist. And it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do, but I'm so happy I had that time in between high school and working to figure out what my passion is. And it's the crazy thing about it was my mom, she has bipolar disorder. So I will always have to write her letters because in down south, y'all don't know, like children should be seen and not heard, So I always had to write her letters to get my point across. So the fact that I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be a journalist, my life had prepared me for that. So came up here, started meeting with people, started taking college courses at a community college, and I got a job at NBC. Started in the mailroom. But I'm like, I just want my foot in the door,
So that was an intern, it was you just got...
I started in the mailroom, and my friend's like, why the fuck you want to work in a mailroom? You can do this, because I'm like, I just want my foot in the door, I want some way to be in there. Got into Georgetown University, and moved up at NBC, so I became a PA, which is a production assistant, doing everything that they don't want to do, writing stories, finding articles, doing news briefs. And what I learned working in corporate is that it's very easy for you to get typecasted, and they saw me as the girl that only had a GED, and started in the mailroom, so they didn't respect me. And I left. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own thing. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. And people are very, they're like, oh, you at NBC, you there? You gotta stay there for 20 years. This your career. And I'm like, nah, y'all trying to sell me a dream that I'm not really like fucking with, So I left and I've been freelancing ever since, and then I started my own blog.
Definitely. So tell me about that blog you got going on, man. I see you out here, you're moving, you're making contacts, man. You're doing what you're doing. So you see what I'm saying? So you got witnesses in here. So tell me more, about that journey, a little bit more about your blog.
Okay, so the blog is called Sip and Tip Talk. I actually came up with the name just sitting in the living room with my friends, because that's all we do is sip and tip and talk about life issues, and share our stories with each other. And basically it's a lifestyle blog, and we share daily tips with you that you can, hopefully talk to your friends about, and something that will create a conversation.
Right. Hey, before we go on to the next, just let the people know where they can find you, give them all your handles and everything.
Okay.
Just real quick.
Alright, so you can find me on Instagram at Nichelle. It's like Michelle, but with an N. Nichelle J Writes. That's WRITES. You can also follow my blog on Instagram, which is Sip and Tip Talk. And you can follow my website as well. Please subscribe at sipandtiptalk.com.
Hey, when we get back, let's dig into some H&M controversy.
As much amongst the people, racism is amongst the system. And if you
It's probably less of a loss to the goal. For instance, my sure. This is my king to the series.
What up, this is Black Hope. What up, RapAboutTV. Shout out to everyone.
Right here, RapAboutTV. Catch me in the kitchen. RapAboutTV, we out.
All doing it to RapAboutTV.
It's a black dog.
My mother's got beats.
Yo, we back. So, there's been a lot of controversy going on with this H&M matter. I'm sure y'all heard about it. With the young model dressed in the hoodie that said the coolest with monkey in the jungle.
In the jungle.
The mom responded too.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, mom do.
Everybody curious to know.
Yeah, she said I'm the mom. He done modeled 100,000 different outfits other than this one, and what's the big fuss about? And also,
She didn't get it.
yeah, she said I don't think that way.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And she lives in Brussels. And she's from Kenya, but lives in Brussels. So, see, one thing about that, going to Georgetown has really opened my eyes to the diversity of the black community. You know, sometimes we just see skin color. So, oh, this is my dog because we both black. You know, but the black culture that's from other countries does not think the same way. I took a class last semester with a guy from the UK. We were talking about slavery and all that, and he's like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. You know, he didn't understand that concept of slavery. Yeah, he did. It wasn't the same for him. He came from a very wealthy family in the UK, you know, so he never saw that side of, you know, so he wasn't as sensitive to those things, and he didn't understand. So from that aspect, with me being more open to knowing that and knowing somebody like that, I can kind of get what the mom is saying. And then at the same time too, I read something online and somebody was like, y'all so mad about this H&M thing, but when your kids jumping around, you tell them to sit their monkey ass down. Which is the truth, you know? And the problem with the black community is like, and we can say it, but nobody else can, you know, or it happens in our household, so it's supposed to stay in this household. And granted, I do find that it was offensive, but just like another meme I saw, y'all anger over the situation is just gonna last as long as the H&M clothes last, which is 2 to 3 weeks. Everybody jumps on a fucking bandwagon, they want to be mad, but are y'all really boycotting? No, some of y'all going out to the club tonight buying an H&M dress. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, so it's cool. So you're saying, so why complain if we gonna support, right?
Exactly.
Basically, in a nutshell,
Exactly.
that's what you said. That's what we got out of there. KB, how you feeling, man? What's up?
I mean, I get it that in certain geographic areas they might not be aware, but I don't believe you blind to slavery or anything that black people went through in this world. I don't think anybody can be blind to that. You know what I'm saying?
Can I add to that? So I think the bigger concept or dialogue is not about the slavery aspect. It's about oppression and white supremacy.
Right.
We've all over the globe,
Right.
suffered under some level of oppression
Right.
and white supremacy. So
Right.
it's not about the slavery. I've seen those comments throughout. It's not about just being slavery. They call Africans monkeys from every culture, Koreans, everybody. They say you're monkey.
Right.
And that's how we grew up. So I think
So they got a pass to say it?
No.
Listen, hold on, my man, like he got a thought.
Then, like you said, people gonna boycott. They gonna say something, be mad about it a little bit, but it's
They
how
gonna go
we
right
do it.
back to
Yeah, that's
how
how we do it. Like for me, like if I'm done with something, I'm done with it.
Right.
I'm not gonna be done with it for now and then go back to it later on. Nah, I'm done with it.
They gonna be sneaking in there.
Hey,
Damn, I need a shirt tonight.
I ain't never.
Come on in. So we here, we talking about H&M. So you came in on the conversation. I'm trying to get off the topic, but we got another question.
And it's not a question, I just want to make a general statement because I think sometimes we lose sight of the bigger picture when we in this big diaspora as a community start having these discussions. And here's the thing. The thing is intent. I'm a paralegal. And when you talk about law, it becomes about intent. So ultimately, the question becomes, and you gotta ask the right question.
Right.
The question becomes, is this H&M's first racial incident? That answer is no.
No.
Right, okay? And then I'm gonna go back, because there's this thing with Dove soap. Dove soap. I use Dove soap all of my life. But Dove just recently did a campaign where they had like the soap in what was it, the black girl.
She took off her white, right?
And it was what, white or something?
It was a white person, like a whole different person.
What happened? So Dove soap, you know, that ad, they changed shades. So like the black person like took off her skin and she was a white person.
Oh, okay.
You know, so these corporations have their own sense of humor towards us.
No, it's not as light a sense of humor.
It's not light, but to them it is.
And at first, no, I don't think it is, but that's what I'm going to say. At first, I was like with all the other apologists in our community, like, that was a wrong decision, misjudgment, they shouldn't have done it like that. However, when I researched it, just like researching H&M, you can go back to somewhere close to 19-something, and they had the same type ad. So this isn't about misjudgment. This is a philosophy.
That's what I meant. That's why I said it's light to them, because they do this. This is natural for them.
But what I'm trying to say to us under this like posting is that it is imagery that is lasting. And for them to keep that imagery out for the next generation is harmful to us. And if we don't take a stance about it and become more politically astute as to what racism really is, and what white supremacy is, they'll continue to do it and bag our money as they walk. And that's all I want to say.
What I'm doing about it.
So, you know, in a nutshell, that's, hey, when we get back, man, y'all heard it. When we get back, man, we're going to jump in a little bit more.
I need to talk to you. There's so much that I never get to tell. Can you meet me uptown off A Street?
Genuine. How y'all feel on this whole transgender issue now?
Is that light?
That's heavy.
KB, man, we're gonna get the brother right quick. KB, man.
Tell me what happened.
Alright, so you know he's on the reality show or whatnot. And
Big Brother.
Yeah, Big Brother. So they having a conversation about transgenders. So Miss. I'm sorry, a transgender person. I'm sorry, I'm transgender person. Hey man, they know me. A transgender person was just asking Genuine, hey, would you kiss? You'll kiss a female, right? And he's like, yeah. And so she's like, would you kiss me? He said, no, I'm transgender. No, I wouldn't. So now she upset. She got real irate. Like that's not fair.
Are we supposed to forget that you were once a man? Like,
First of all, the bigger issue is that I felt like that person was very aggressive with him. We're in a social climate. I only know because I saw like the clip.
Private, you would have got the same answer.
Right, you would have got the same answer.
You got the
but
same
like
answer.
from the perspective of where we are, like from a socioeconomic standpoint, right? We just had an entire movement about Me Too, right? About not being ashamed of sexual harassment and about having the freedom to make your own decisions in terms of who you decide to be involved with, et cetera, et cetera. So for you to force yourself on me and to think that that's okay because your agenda follows that of something that's more popular in this country is harassment, is degrading. And I feel like it's exactly what's wrong. Like, I feel like a lot of, and this is not always the case, but I feel like a lot of what's motivating this entire story is white supremacy. Because I feel like if this was a black transgender, nobody would have a problem with it.
Exactly.
But, you know, the fact that this is a white transgender individual, that you have the right to force yourself on me. And me saying no, because it doesn't meet your socioeconomic standard, now it's a problem. Nah, like if this was a nigga, nobody would care. So, I mean, I just feel like all of these things like are feeding the machine. This is only news to you because you're white and you feel like you have a right to force yourself, as you always have.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you know, that's just me. But, you know, I ain't slept with
I just don't even, I mean, do you feel like it wouldn't be a big deal? I mean, it would be, to me, it ain't a conversation. He would have got rejected either way, white or black.
Actually, that's what I'm saying. I feel like this person would have been rejected either way.
Remember, I said we have to ask the right questions.
You do have to ask
Understanding the psychology. And so if we know that there's a political agenda being pushed, the bigger question or the bigger imagery that was put out there is this transgender person is saying and creating an argument that you're discriminating against me because I am a woman.
Right.
And if that's what she asked. She said, but wait a minute.
You're sexually harassing me.
Right. She was trying to force a kiss on me.
She was transgender, I'm a woman, and you're discriminating against me because you're discriminating against me because you would kiss other women, but you won't kiss me. I'm not a preference, and as a transgender, I think it's unfair because now most men are discriminating against us because.
Why don't our black men have a choice? And why do I have to accept?
So that's
why our men have to accept anything you get. Like you come out here and you know what I'm saying on your nigga bitch swag. And like I'm just supposed to be cool. First of all, what if I don't like you? Period. Like I don't know if I like you when I first meet you enough to kiss you. That's as a woman to any man or whatever. I don't know if I want to kiss him when I first meet you, and I have a right to take my time to figure that out, no matter what that is. Why is it that our men don't even get a choice? Like America immediately jumps on our men as though they're the bad guys. Like we don't have a choice as to who you want to be physically involved with. The whole situation is erroneous because of the fact that you should have a right to decide who you want to kiss. No matter what, you can see yourself on me as well.
Yeah, because if it's a dude, I like dudes.
Yeah.
If I don't want to kiss your ass, it's plenty of dudes out here that I'm not kissing. Like,
I got you 6 seconds.
Exactly.
Now I'm put your mouth.
Exactly. It's about the same.
What you got? Like,
yeah. Yo, listen, not really looking at a truck right now. Like,
if I met a nigga at Walmart, right, and we walking through the house together, getting to know each other, and we walk off the Walmart, you can't kiss me.
You want to kiss me?
What are you talking about? We gonna shake hands, sir.
But the issue that was sidestepped and that Genuine politically handled was I do not prefer transgender, and nobody wants to make that statement.
Oh man, does.
Why is that wrong?
I'm very honest about what he did.
Because that's not. It's not like he's lying. It's not like.
But he ain't supposed to say that or something?
If it's right, that's
So
what happened to him being able to say whatever.
To answer the question, why black men don't have a choice, because the game is to demasculize the black man.
Exactly.
You know, so stop the rise of the black man. So you know that's the goal. So every picture they're gonna paint is some way trying to tear us down, to demasculize us, to make it seem like this should be cool to y'all.
Right.
You know, so
That was the bigger argument.
Right.
And I feel like that's unfair because, like I said, like I feel like if this were an African, like if this were, you know the donkey out with the pink lips that be dancing, if that was him trying to kiss Genuine, no one would care.
Exactly.
No, I don't feel like the transgender community would be fighting as hard if these were two black men dealing with each other. I just feel like race is a part of why this argument is so prevalent, why it's news, and why people feel like it's so wrong. And I think it's wrong that we don't get the same choices to say no that some of our counterparts do.
I think that that's a false statement. We do get the same choices. We don't use our privilege of having that choice. And we don't use it because of fear. You get what I'm saying? We're so fearful of being punished or being scrutinized or being ostracized that we don't use our privilege of choice. You get what I'm saying? And just
trying to use his privilege.
okay, but at the same time, if somebody it starts. Everybody's so afraid of, oh, I'm not gonna be the person to speak up. I'm not gonna be the person to do this. I'm not gonna be the person to do that. But if one person starts, other people will follow. We don't have enough leaders in the Black community to do that. You know, and then the life of a leader doesn't look as glamorized as the people that decide to ignore it. You get what I'm saying? So they don't use the privilege of choice because it doesn't look as glamorized.
I would say also, I want to add to that, it's a balance because I don't think, it's not enough leaders, but then there's not enough supporters. Because I look at, just the industry and everything going around, I'd be amazed how, you lose Michael, Prince, I could name them, it's no outcry. Look at Kanye West now. Where's the outcry? Because you have somebody stepping up for you, but now, they put him in this situation, ain't nobody raising an eyebrow about, if they do something to Kanye. So yeah, you don't got leaders because most of them scared to go out there because they ain't get the support of their own people.
Right.
We don't, when stuff happen to us, the government, whomever, don't answer to their community, our community whatsoever.
Right, and if I can, I think that what we are negating to maybe mention is the strength that comes from the hardship that we've endured as a culture. So subsequently, a lot of our great leaders were born out of the worst kinds of circumstances and homes that did not help to facilitate openness and conversation. And as a result of coming from an household or an environment or culture or neighborhood that did not facilitate the pursuit of bigger dreams than, dribbling a basketball or picking up a microphone, you do have these environments where people feel like, well, I want to give that to my community because I didn't have it. So I don't want us to get away from the fact that just because we do have environments that didn't facilitate those bigger dreams or those more educated conversations, that they didn't breed leaders who then created those environments for their kids.
I totally agree with that because I look at myself as a leader. You get what I'm saying? But what I do feel is that it wouldn't be such a rarity in the community if we had more open environments.
And see, I don't agree with that either though. Because I think that there is a great deal of leadership in our communities. Now, how we utilize that leadership.
That's why.
Yes. Now, I think, and this is just my perspective, I feel like if you look at, I think Kendrick Lamar and 21 Savage are just as great leaders as our councilmen. Now, I think that what you use that leadership for, determines maybe your impact on a larger scale and throughout time, But at the same time, I had a guy that a guy in my community, his name is Trayon White, who went to UMBS, good friend of mine. He led a Bible study, that was how I met him. And he became a 7th Ward councilman this year, or 8th Ward councilman last year. And Trayon came from the same kind of environments in Southeast that a lot of us did. And he was able to turn that into something amazing. And now he's inspiring that same kind of leadership in his own community with a lot of his friends who are now opening, community activism and back to school programs to try to help kids who may not have the access that, some of our kids have who come from, better or more educated or more financially expansive opportunities. So I do think that we're breeding leaders. And I don't think that it's necessarily as rare as it seems. I think that we have to do a better job of maybe facilitating those leadership opportunities into something bigger. I think that we have to do a better job of spreading the same knowledge and education that our current leaders have to the next generation of kids. Because a lot of times we do create leaders and they don't give back. They get their money, they get their fame, they get their prestige, and then they move to LA with it. And they forget that they from here. You know what I mean? Or they get their money and they get those big dollars and they go to Atlanta with it.
And that's why
you use that same knowledge and power here. I have a lot of friends who have made money on the back end as far as music, as far as production, engineering, things that really require skill. And they go to Atlanta, they go to LA, they get their money and they forget you from Tacoma Park, baby. You gotta come back and give that to these kids here. But on the other end, perfect example, I have a friend who's from Nashville. His name is 6 Cent. He produced the Road to Paradise. So y'all know that. That's on iTunes right now. You pre-order it via Sick is from Nashville. He moved to Atlanta because that's just kind of where it was happening in music. And now that Sick is he's produced for Drake at this point. He did Location by Khalid, which of course was $1 billion record on the back end, even though they only got millions on the front. But now he and all of his friends that are doing production and engineering, they're doing after school programs alongside Microsoft in Atlanta to try to teach other kids how to do engineering. Right? So, and I think that that's the thing that we're missing as far as our leaders. Not just to go on Instagram and put your shiny watch on and show the kids, no, you can get money too, you can get money too. Well, how? Right? Because a lot of the problems I feel like with leadership, I don't think that our leaders are rare, I don't agree with that. But what I do think is rare is our leaders reaching back and telling these kids, this is how I did it. This was the road that I took. Not just putting there your watch.
I feel like that's what disintegrates it. That's what disintegrates it, because then it breeds ignorance, because we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So that's just,
we do need to do a better job of teaching kids how to get there, not just telling them.
But that's what I think as far as my definition of a leader. If you're not reaching back, you're not a leader. I'm sorry. You made it, but you're not a leader. Fair enough. That's what I look at.
Touche. Well, hey, listen, man, it's been a great discussion. Hey, before we get out of here, we just got a selection from Miss Mia. We're gonna get here. She's gonna tell you about her new album that's dropped. That's out now. It'll be out by the time it's come. Out now. You know what I'm saying? So you want to get into it, man. Rap About TV, man.
Wow. As much amongst the people, racism is amongst the system. It is the system.
Alright, so look, we're back, man. We're at the end of the show. We had a great morning, great discussion. Everybody was involved. Before we get out of here, you know how we do. We got Mia here, man. And she just had a release party last night. Miss Sparrow. I'm sorry, Miss Sparrow. Just had a release last night. Her album is out. Tell us a little bit more about it, man, this journey of it.
The Road to Paradise. You know, it's out on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Tidal, anywhere you can download music. And it's basically just like the journey of realizing, you know, that men, money, you know, with all those antiquated things, that's not where you're gonna find your happiness. That if you want to find out who you are and what you're made of and what's truly gonna make you happy in this life, you're gonna have to look into yourself first. And you're gonna have to fix the issues that are going on inside of you in order to be successful. And for me personally, I think for a long time, you know, I'm 26, so for like, I think a long time I was in bouncing kind of in and out of relationships and looking for that to make me whole. And I realized, I think, early enough to make changes that if I wanted to feel whole, I was going to have to find that within myself. And that it was going to require me kind of stepping away from people and stepping away from relationships and really looking into what God had designed for my purpose to be. And so the whole album is just centered around realizing that the road to paradise is a long one. That it's not going to be found, you know, overnight. I get into relationships or who you decide you're going to sleep with, or the amount of money that you make, the amount of education that you have, you know what I mean? Because I've been blessed to do all those things. To be able to have a college education and to pass that on to my younger brother and to have a family that supported those dreams, you know what I mean? To go to college and then say, now I want to do something different. And in doing all of those things, I just realized, man, if you don't keep God first, if you don't know what your purpose is, if you don't know who you are and how all of those things are meant to manifest into what you're meant to do in this life, you're never going to find your peace. So, you know, that's all the Road to Paradise is about, man, and hopefully everybody will get out and support it.
Shout out to you, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's a testimony. I asked you what she summed it up. Where's the tour?
The tour, we're doing that starting in February. We're going to start in Atlanta and just kind of like move through. So city by city, we hit in Nashville, we hit in Memphis, we hit in Detroit, we hit in LA, we hit in Yorba Linda, out in California. So, you know, we're just going to try to spread the sound and hopefully people gravitate towards it. I think the beauty is that we are in an era where real music is popular. And we're in an era where people do, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm listening to Cartier Body, I'm listening to all that too. But I think that we are living in a time of music where you can say something that has weight and people still listen to it and people not feel like, oh, that's too deep, that's too much, I don't want to hear that. You know, we can thank Kendrick and Cole and kind of like that new class of rappers, you know, for introducing that, for introducing real music, having people want to hear it, listen to it, receive it, and also buy it. Right. So, you know, I'm proud to kind of be in the era of music where you can say something that matters, say something that's honest, and say something that really truly represents you, and not have to sell yourself in order to do it. So, you know, I'm proud of the Road to Paradise, and again, you know, hopefully everybody will get it. Again, you can get it on iTunes, all that good stuff. You can visit the site MiaWasHere.com. Follow me on social media, MiaWasHere, 4 zeros everywhere, and you know, hopefully people just gravitate towards it and appreciate something that's honest. That's, you know, not talking about my vagina or somebody's sideburns. This joint called Bow Down. Get us on the Road to Paradise. You can get that January 18th everywhere. Here we go. Trapped between two evils, a rock and maybe a hard place. I want to leave my people, but want money like I sell hard bass. The label said I need turn up, plus they saying I should sing more. I look at them like they missed the boat, I'm too good for that, man, I bring more. I'm Angela Davis in Balenciagas. Laura Hill on Miseducation. Nina Simone plus a packet of chrome, chucking fit to the dome, but running out of my patience. New leader of the new school. College degree plus I'm too cool. No weed here, but when the smoke clear, I'm drowning every opponent like a new pool. Police want to entrap our people. Keep us down, then kill us off. We ought to spray the peace, but we pray for peace. Call us thugs, then say we too soft. Pulled over by the police. They say it's because of my headlight. The real reason is you hate me. You really need to get your head right. We got a justice system from the Jim Crow. Trying to rise up, but we meant slow. Trying to take off like Madoff, chastising us, but the revenge slow. Assimilate and be like you. Bible or the rifle. I gotta walk on water for you to see that I'm just like you. Damn. Road to Paradise, man. Y'all make sure y'all.
Hey, man, Road to Paradise, man.